Hi everybody, this is Dr. Niger with a Physics Fundamentals Screencast. This is going to look at forces, motion, and inclined plane. So a situation where the object is not on a flat surface. All right. So the first thing I suggest is you draw two different pictures when we deal with inclined plane problems. First is going to be a diagram of the object on the inclined plane, and then separately, we're going to look at the free body force diagram. I think it keeps things a little cleaner than if you try to do both in the same. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it. If you would like to do all on one, that's fine too. All right, so I'm going to start by drawing an inclined plane. All right, so there's my thank you, Notability, for making it so nice. All right, so here's my inclined plane, and then on this plane, I'm going to have a box. Okay, now at the moment, we're not going to discuss which way the box is moving. We're just going to look at the forces that are acting on it. Okay, so this inclined plane is going to have an angle here, which we call theta. All right, and then acting on it, we're going to have gravity. I'm going to draw them a little longer than they should be. All right, now one thing to keep in mind, FG is always straight down. All right, you'll see what I mean in just a second. All right, now we know from other objects that are on flat surfaces that Fg is always opposed by the normal force, but the normal force is always perpendicular to the surface. So that means in this case, it's going to look like this. All right, so this is our normal force. All right, so keep in mind, this should be always perpendicular to the surface. All right, so that means just by looking at the drawing, Fn is clearly not opposite in direction of Fg. So we can't take Fg at face value. We need to instead take Fg and we're going to break it into its x and its y components. All right, so let me draw these in here. All right, so this is the force of gravity in the y component, and this is the force of gravity in the x component. All right, so we're again going to have an angle, theta, and these two are the same. All right, so whatever the angle of your inclined plane is, that's going to be your theta angle in your triangle. All right, now one thing I want you to pay very close attention to. All right, we just finished our unit on projectile motion, and in that unit, the opposite side of our right triangle was always the y component, and the adjacent was always the x component. That is not the case with inclined planes. All right, for inclined planes, the x component is opposite of our angle. All right, so we're going to use the force due to gravity, and we're going to multiply it by the sine of that angle to find fx. All right, the y component is adjacent, so we're going to use the force due to gravity times the cosine of our angle. So that's going to be a little bit different than when we did projectile motion. So you need to be very, very careful. Okay? All right, now let's talk about the free body force diagram. So I'm going to draw that here. So here's my box. All right, now pushing up against the box is our normal force, and that's as is, because we're taking it from the perspective of the box. Okay? Now, countering that normal force is the gravitational force, but it's the y component of the gravitational force that counters it, not Fg itself, but the y component. All right, and then pointing outward, we have the x component of our gravitational force. All right, now if this box is moving, then we also are going to have a frictional force in place. Well, actually, even if it's not moving, there's a frictional force. So maybe I'll just put that in, our frictional force. All right, the key is this always opposes motion. All right, so in this case, if the box were sitting still, gravity would want it to slide down to the bottom of the ramp, but gravity opposes that, so it points upward. Okay, so we have a couple options for what the box can do. All right, so let's say we're pushing the box up. All right, that means the applied force, which is going to be Fgx plus any applied force is going to be to the right. Whoops. All right. And that means that our friction will be to the left. All right. Our other option is sliding, or you could be pushing the box down the ramp. All right. So if you're sliding or pushing the box down the ramp, the applied force will be, again, I got to fix something. I made a mistake. I got to correct that. Will be FGX plus the applied force. All right, this will point to the left, and our frictional force will point to the right. I made a mistake with the pushing up part. Let me go back. All right, let's go back through that again. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's try this again. All right, let me tell you what my problem was here. All right, the applied force will be us pushing it up, and that's going to be to the right. That's correct. My problem was I should not have included the x component of gravity there, because that is not going to change. That's always going to point down the ramp. All right, so that means that our frictional force plus that force due to gravity are going to work together against our upward motion, and those will both point to the left. All right, so if you look, you'll see that for both of these options, Fx is to the left. Fx is to the left. All right, and that's important because when we draw our diagram of the box on the ramp, you'll see it never changes. Fy is always opposite of the normal force, and Fx is always down the ramp. Okay, sorry about that. Ooh, that would have been bad. I'm glad I caught that. Okay, so let's try a problem. A 12 kilogram dog stands at a rest on a 15-degree inclined plane. All right, so let's see. I'm going to start with a picture because that's just how I like to do it. Whoops, but I'm not going to use the highlighter. All right, so there's my inclined plane. I can't draw a dog, so I'm just going to make it a box. There he is. All right, and I know, based on what the problem's telling me, that my angle here is 15 degrees. All right, I'm going to have a gravitational force pulling down. And again, I make my arrows exaggerated so that I have room to put in my components. And I've got my normal force pointing up. And this is my gravitational force. All right, and then I'm going to have two components to this gravitational force. The y component and then the x component. All right, now this dog is standing still. All right, so I'm not going to have any applied force. All right, so let's look at our force diagram on the object. So here's my dog. There you go, D. All right, pointing down, I'm going to have the y component of gravity. And then equal and opposite, I'm going to have my normal force. I know it's equal and opposite because the dog is not floating off the inclined plane. All right, I also am going to have pointing down the plane, down the ramp, my gravity value in the x direction. And then equal but opposite to that, I have to have some sort of frictional piece. Because if I don't have something opposing that downward force going down the ramp, the dog should slide down the ramp. All right, so these are also going to be equal but opposite. All right, so I'm going to focus on the net equation for the motion that's parallel, for the forces that are parallel to the motion, and those are my gravitational force in the x component plus my frictional force. Okay? What is the frictional force acting on the dog? Okay, so I need to figure out what that force due to friction is. All right, so I got to think about what's going on. I know that the dog is not moving, and so that tells me that F net is equal to 0. All right, so if I take my equation, 0 is going to be equal to that frictional force plus the gravitational piece in the x direction. I need to solve for that gravitational piece. So that's going to be equal to F friction plus, all right, if I look, I know that the angle in this corner is also 15 degrees. I'm opposite. All right, so I'm going to have my FG value times the sine of theta. All right, so that means that 0 will equal our frictional force plus, it's my dog's 12 kilograms, so 120 newtons, times Oh, and this is going to be negative, times the sine of 15 degrees. All right, so 0 equals my frictional force plus a negative, what do we get here? 31.06 newtons. All right, so I'm going to move that to the other side, and I find that the force due to friction is 31.06 newtons. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. What is the normal force acting on the dog? All right, so now we have to think about where that normal force is. All right, so if I had done F net perpendicular to the motion, I would have said the normal force plus the gravitational piece in the y direction. All right, and again, I know this is 0, so that normal force plus Fg times the cosine of theta. All right, so the normal force is going to be equal to, oh, whoops, jumping ahead. Let's keep this at 0. The normal force plus negative 120 newtons times the cosine of 15 degrees. All right, so I plug that in, and I get a negative 115.9 newtons. Move that to the other side, and the normal force acting on the dog is 115.9 newtons. Okay? All right, so again, you can see why it's important to have these free body force diagrams and the diagram of the motion itself. Okay. One more problem. Let's see. So we this time have a 10 kilogram plate that slides down a ramp at a 20-degree angle above the horizontal. Assume there is no friction. Draw the free body force diagram and write the net force equation for the crate. All right, I'm again going to start with my triangle. All right, I'm going to put my box on the triangle. Whoops. All right, and this time I know that the box is moving. So here's my motion. Okay, so then I'm going to fill in what I know. I know that this angle is 20 degrees, and I know we have a gravitational force pulling down. All right, I know that opposing it is a normal force. Oh, sorry, I forgot to write Fg. And I know I can split Fg into its x and its y components, and that the angle here is also 20 degrees. All right, so now let's draw my free body force diagram. So pulling down, I'm going to have gravity in the y direction working against my normal force. And then down the ramp, I'm going to have gravity in the x direction causing the crate to slide. Now, there's no friction here, so I don't have any opposing force. All right, so that means F net in the same direction of the motion, the parallel direction, will just be equal to that x component of gravity. All right, so let's talk about that value, the net force acting on the crate. So we said it's equal to that gravitational piece in the x direction. So that means F net is going to be equal to Fg times the sine of our angle, which will be a negative 100 newtons, because the crate was 10 kilograms, times the sine of 20 degrees. All right, so our F net for this crate is going to be negative 34.2 newtons. So there's our F net. All right. Now, if the crate starts from rest at the top of the ramp and reaches a velocity of 7.5 meters per second at the end of the ramp, how long is the ramp? All right, so I'm going to list out my variables. So V initial, V final, acceleration, time, and change in position. All right, so what do I know? We start from rest. We're going to end down the ramp, so negative 7.5 meters per second. I don't know the acceleration. I don't know the time. Oh, and this is my unknown. All right, so I'm going to need one of these two numbers. All right, the easiest one is going to be acceleration. So I'm going to start with acceleration and then go find that. All right, so how am I going to find acceleration? Well, I know F net, and I know the mass of the crate. So I'm going to start by using F net equals mass times acceleration. So negative 34.2 newtons is going to be equal to 10 kilograms times my unknown acceleration. So the acceleration here will be negative 3.42 meters per second squared. All right, so that negative acceleration works with everything because we're moving in the negative direction. The acceleration is negative, so we should see speeding up, which is what our velocity values tell us is happening. All right, second, I'm going to find the change in position. I'm going to use my v squared formula. So v final squared equals v initial squared plus 2 times our acceleration times our change in position. All right, so we have a negative 7.5 meters per second squared equals 0 plus 2 times negative 3.42 meters per second squared times our unknown change in position. All right, we plug everything in and solve, and we find the crate has moved 8.22 meters down the ramp. So the negative sign also makes sense here because we're moving down the ramp. All right, so as I said before, I think it's pretty important to draw the diagram so that you can figure out what the X and Y components are and to draw that free body force diagram. All right, just keep in mind, again, that the X component for these problems is going to be the sine of the angle times the gravitational value. And the Y component is going to be the cosine of our angle times the force due to gravity. Okay?